my gosh, you guys, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is such a visually pleasing movie. And it's surprisingly better written than most of the live-action films. I have to hand it to the team at Sony Pictures Animation. They have a real knack for these little sight gags and visual storytelling that make you feel connected with their stories. Oh yeah, and of course this is going to contain some spoilers, but they are very, very mild and mostly what you've already seen in the previews. I will talk a little beyond what you just see in the trailers, so if you do not want any spoilers, you want to keep your blinders up, you need to get out of here right away. My theory today is all about the spider bite, and if you don't know that Spider-Man had a spider bite, well, then a spoiler warning isn't gonna help you. Verbal facepalm. So what I want to discuss today is the Highlander approach of the Spider-Verse. Well, maybe it's a reverse Highlander thing where instead of the whole "there can only be one," it's more like "there will always be one." Truly, it's established canon from the comics that if something happens to Spider-Man, another Spider-Man will somehow come into existence. And Into the Spider-Verse follows that rule perfectly as Miles gets his powers about a day before something else happens. Mystery spoiler. Seriously, the movie is still in theaters with no DVD release date right now, so I don't want to get really into it, but it's super convenient that Miles happened to get bit and gain powers exactly at the time he did. He came into being to fulfill a gap that no one should have known was there. And what's even more bizarre is that this power-granting spider was from another dimension. Yeah, I'm not making that up. The spider was glitching from cell decay because he was from the wrong dimension. So where did it come from, and what are the odds that it'd find someone to bite before it died from complications from traveling through space and time? Seriously, Miles had to have been set up to become Spider-Man. I know, the movie context clues might lead us to believe that it's from Spider-Man 2099 for several reasons, including the fact that 2099 appears in the bonus scene, but that doesn't feel like a close enough match for my taste. Even if we go through and analyze all the different Spider-Man spiders, the spider that bit Miles is there before the dimensional portal is open. Hold on, okay, Mr. Spider could have been thrown a week or so back in time like Spider-Woman was, but this spider was hanging out very close to the portal, whereas all the other spider people were tossed into Times Square. No way I'd buy that the spider got sucked into a portal that was singling out only spider peeps, and then arrived in Times Square only to work its way back to the bottom of the subway. That's far less believable in my opinion than the scenario I'm about to offer you. Instead, my belief is that the spider was planted at that exact location because someone knew that Miles would be there. So, who do we know in the entire Spider-Verse who happens to be a clairvoyant with a history of dimensional and time travel? And let's see, is there anyone who also has a reputation for passing powers from one person to another? Oh, Madam Web, is that you moving radioactive spiders into other dimensions? If this is a new name for you, and no, she's not in the movie at all, you didn't miss her. Madam Web was created in 1980, and she's had multiple incarnations, my favorite of which was in the 90s Spider-Man animated series, but she's normally portrayed as a blind, paralyzed mutant with high intelligence, telepathy, clairvoyance, and precognition. In the Spider-Man series that ran from 1994 to 98, Madam Web went dimensional hopping to find a Spider-Man good enough to defeat Spider Carnage before he destroyed the multiverse. And hey, Into the Spider-Verse is literally a movie about dealing with the multiverse, referencing a lot of other Spider-Man shows, movies, and games. So this version of Madam Web exists here too. Or at least, I think she does. Madam Web is the reason that Miles became a Spider-Man because she knew that reality's Peter Parker was doomed and she needed to create a new hero to battle Spider Carnage. It even fits with the context of the movie as Spider-Gwen, or sorry, Spider-Woman technically, but come on, Spider-Gwen, because the Spider-Women I recognize are Jessica Drew, Julia Carpenter, Maddie Franklin, and Charlotte Witter. Anyways, Blonde Spider whoever appears to Miles at the end of the movie like the super spiders need to team up to defeat some crazy bad guy threatening the multiverse. Well, who could that be? Spider Carnage, obviously! Into the Spider-Verse was so well written and is getting such high praise that I bet there will be a sequel after the Spider-Gwen spinoff, in which case I'd expect the writing team to come up with something incredible incredible that involve details from the first film that we didn't fully comprehend. If not, hey Sony, I'm handing you this idea. This theory has phenomenal story potential. But other than that, I don't want to spoil the movie for anyone who wants a little spoilers but not a ton of spoilers. So I'm gonna stop here with the idea that Madam Web put the spider into Miles' dimension to make him be Spider-Man. It might not be reality, but theories are more fun. I can't make that stretch out anymore. I'm sorry. That was horrible. Well, that's all I have for now, but this video's not quite over yet. I get a lot of comments that say, do a theory on this topic, but I've already done those theories. So please consider going to my main channel page and clicking on the video tab so that way you can see everything I've done. You will probably find a lot of things you like that you never even knew that I posted. I want to let you know that I also have 2 other channels, Say Halo Goodbye Gaming and the Fanily Family Vlogs. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed enough to hit subscribe and share. I can use all the help I can get to let other people know that this channel exists. And if you made it this far, leave me a comment that says something like, hey, I made it to the end, and then let me know what kind of videos you want to see in the future. I can't make any promises, but the more people that request something, the more I can look into it. Okay, well, I love you. I'll see you in the next video.